Mother, I bow to thee, rich with thy hurrying streams, bright with thy orchid gleams, cool with thy winds of delight, dark fields waving, mother of might, mother free. From the song Vande Mataram, written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay and translated by Sri Aurobindo in English. Book title Swatantrata Sangram Senani, Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya. Early life of Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya. Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya was popular as Shri Rammat during his years of participation in the freedom struggle of India. He was born in a small village called Awalkheda, which is situated in Agra district, on 20th September 1911, to a very religious, God loving family, helping everyone around him since childhood. Although he was born at an age and at time when the caste divides were at their peak, he used to vehemently oppose any such social restrictions and used to break such boundaries often. One such instance was when he served a poor Harijan, untouchable as per society then, lady who was suffering from leprosy and was not allowed to be visited by anyone because of her caste. Not only did Pandit Shriram tended to her, but took complete responsibility till she became all right. He used to teach the Harijan children regularly, breaking the society norms, restrictions, and boundaries, and set an example for everyone around him. Initiation into the freedom struggle. Pandit Shriram was married very early on, as was the custom in those days. He had an ardent desire to be a part of the Indian freedom struggle, as was instructed by his guru too. But his family and in laws did not support him to be a part of the revolution. So one day, on the premise of going to the washroom outside the house, he escaped home and walked all the way from Awalkheda to Agra to join the Congress party. Soon the Agra Revolution started when the revolutionaries walked for 30 kilometers to face the English army. Pandit Sri Ram was also a part of this uprising in Sucheta, a place situated on Fatehpur Sikri road near Agra. Pandit Sri Ram's activities around the period of uprising against Rowlatt Act. A new phase of independence struggle had started when the entire nation rose against the Rowlatt Act. This fire gained fuel from the participation of Lokmanya Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. During this time, Pandit Sri Ram met Sri Krishna Paliwal and read a lot about the souls of India and the gems of the Indian freedom struggle, something that was deliberately not taught in the primary education system in India at that time, and against which a revolution had already started. Actively engaging in the freedom struggle. Sri Krishna Paliwalji started a paper named Sainik and gave Pandit Sri Ram the work of proofing, editing, etc., which Pandit Sri Ram executed with great dedication. He updated himself by studying the literature of Babu Gulab Rai, MA, and started writing fiery poems under the pen name Mata Prahlad that started getting published in papers like Vidyarthi, Dainik Vishwamitra, etc. All his books and articles, which are kept in the Chiranjeevi library in that area, shook up a lot of people at that time to jump into the freedom movement. The intent of all these writings was to fire up the masses and energize the revolution around India's freedom movement. Why was he named as Sri Rammat? Very active in the revolutionary circle in Agra, he was popularly nicknamed Sri Rammat by his fellow freedom fighters after a particular incident. In one of the protests against the British rule in Agra district, Pandit Sri Ram was beaten blue and made unconscious by police, but somehow still clung to the Indian national flag through his teeth. Mata in Hindi means overpowered by an intense emotion, making it very difficult for anyone to take it out and destroy it. This intense love, coupled with commitment, got him the nickname Sri Rammat. Sentenced to rigorous prison at various occasions. Sri Rammat was sentenced to rigorous imprisonment for more than 6 times during the struggle. During these phases of imprisonment, he continued to learn while serving these jail terms with people like Mahatma Gandhi, Madan Mohan Malviya, Rafi Ahmad Kidwai, etc. These learnings were helpful in the next journey he was about to undertake for a much bigger freedom struggle that continues till date. A most trustworthy volunteer. During the revolution, keeping treasures were declared illegal by the British, and they were on the constant lookout to take in the treasures to fill in their coffers and deplete the financial strength of the people. But the families of the revolutionaries who were in jail at that time needed financial support. Given the tricky situation, Paliwalji needed a faithful person to keep the treasure hidden from the British to provide for these families. He chose Shri Ram as in charge for this trusted role. The next phase of freedom. Freedom not only had to be in physical form from the clutches of British, but rather mentally too, breaking the old chain of thoughts and renewing them with fresh ones. This was the thought revolution that Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya outlined and continued with, and with is what his millions of loved children across the planet are a part of. What is this book about? This book is a compilation of hundreds of articles on Pandit Sri Ram's journey from childhood to becoming a freedom fighter, his life experiences, his values and views of how he perceived the fighting for the nation and what it stood for. Few topics covered in the book: Agra's rent Bandi movement and revered Acharya Gandhi Urban Pact and rent captive, Kolkata Convention for Asansol Jain, instructions at Sabarmati Ashram, that is spiritual entry.